In case you are new here, there's only one thing you need to know about this place. And that is this. Winning is all that matters here. Not the game you are playing, not the reputation which precedes you. Just winning. Anything less will be ignored. A new chapter of the LOR games begins today. Unlike previous events, participants will no longer be invited to compete. Rather, they will earn their place through a qualifier known as the 4. Today's new competitor did just that, and happens to have been here before. Not long ago, Flakes took our current champion to Game 7, and proved to be one of his most difficult challenges yet. The only concern being that our current champion has gained another win since that time, and remains undefeated through the entire history of the LOR games. Winner receives $1,000. Loser is sent back to the 4.
Welcome back to the LOR games, with Flakes making his second appearance after making it through the 4 qualifying stage. He looks to end Fairy Peak's reign of dominance and 5-match winning streak that has seen him earn a staggering $5,000. Flakes comes into this series as one of the only 2 players that have pushed Fairy Peak to Game 7, after employing a counter-attacking strategy against the Frenchman, but struggling with Fairy's ability to change playstyles on the fly. But given that this is the first rematch we've seen on the LOR games, we'll be looking towards Flakes to see what new tricks he can pull out. Commentary comes from Johnny Boy.
Game 1. Fairy Peak takes on Flakes once again. Will Flakes be able to avenge his previous defeat to the great Frenchman? That's a good start. Look at Flakes landing on top of Fairy to deny the save. He's going to need to bring his A game both in offense and in defense today if he's going to have any chance of securing a best of 7 victory. Consistency is the name of the game. We all know Flakes can take down Fairy in games here and there, and he's off to a great start in this first one. Kickoff goal supplementing his pop dunk goal earlier on. And Flakes has been mostly defending against Fairy Peak in the previous matchups we've seen. Not really knowing how to break free of the pressure that Fairy Peak is able to exert. That's not to say that Flakes can't win just by counter-attacking. Look how he baits Fairy in. Gets a 3rd goal, surely. Oh my goodness, it's almost in. It is now. Flakes almost beat this one, but it does cross the line eventually. He's off to an even better start in this match. Loses the kickoff territorially, but he should be able to take control of the situation. He decides to go for boost instead of the ball, though. Fairy Peak gets one back. Flakes needed to play the ball there. Even just a slight touch on his way by would have been enough to kill some time. Fairy Peak was always going to be chasing after him there just in case Flakes gave it to him. Now here comes Fairy looking for a second goal. Flicks it high into the crossbar. Will Flakes recover in time? No, he won't. Fairy Peak 2 goals. Flakes lead is starting to crumble. Still inside the first minute here. Fairy Peak pressure from another kickoff. This time Flakes will recover in time after grabbing boost in the back corner. His wall shot is close to the net. Flakes going to carry on flying after this. And he might wish that he'd just recovered. Looks like he's not going to get punished for that aggression. Stays safely high up on the back wall as well, knowing that Fairy Peak could threaten the demo. That's not really Fairy's preference in that position. He doesn't go for as many back wall demos as most of the other high-level players in Europe at the moment. Flakes is still aware of the possibility. Fairy Peak double touch, saved by Flakes down low. Great stuff by the Dutchman. hanging on to his lead here. So a lot of touches in the air dribble, but he falls short of the net. This time it's Fairy avoiding the demo in the back side of the field. Trying to control the pace of the game is Fairy as he shuts down Flake's side flip shot. Seems to be Fairy is trying to bait Flakes in with slow play and then pounce the second he notices any opening to play with. Thinking about shooting early here, instead goes to the boost at the side of the field. Flakes is stationed on the back wall, comes back down from there, realizing Fairy's not going to be shooting high, and that's a great 50-50 for Flakes. Open net, 4-2. Flakes in a great spot as we approach halftime in game 1. Fairy Peak's current LOR game streak being at 5 wins. You have to think that Flakes needs a good start here. Fairy Peak is so difficult to come back against these days. Difficult enough to beat even if you do get a good start against him. Another demo on Flakes. This time he's going to be scoring after it. Fairy Peak takes his time just to ensure the goal. He's back within 1. Flakes, whether or not he's aware of the possibility of being demoed, needs to be a bit more careful of it. Since 2 times now Fairy Peak's caught him. Looks for the equalizer, and he gets it just like that. Fairy Peak levels the game. Kickoff pressure. Always such a powerful tool for the Frenchman. Flakes denies boost in the midfield. Fairy Peak's backed off, giving him the whole pitch to dribble with. Flakes thinking about crossing over. He's actually just going to go straight down the middle though, and there's no angle for him to work with. He had just gone a bit more to the left on that approach. Fairy Peak would have been in a more compromised spot. This time Flakes will switch it up and get Fairy on the back foot. Fairy's hanging on so far. Some good control. Bumps Flakes away from this ball as the challenge failed to make contact with the ball. Flakes playing this one so conservatively, and he knows he has to, but deciding to continue flying for this. Double touch from Flakes! Fairy Peak even made contact with him mid-air here, but he could not recover in time to save the shot. Flakes shoots it under his pre-jump, and he is the only player still who's had the goal lead in this first game. Fairy Peak be able to come back and tie him yet again. Minute and 29 seconds left to do so. Fake jump by Flakes. It's Fairy Peak to sort of give the ball to him, but Flakes is going to relieve pressure rather for the time being. Fairy Peak waiting for the ball to bounce away from the wall so that he can take it under control. Sets up a boost steal with that pressure. Now he's got Flakes in a really bad position. Fairy Peak leans to the left, shoots to the right, and he will equalize yet again. It's so difficult from Flakes' POV to know where Fairy Peak intends to shoot that ball. Whether he even intends to shoot that ball. It could be a fake, it could all be another elaborate plan for Fairy. Flakes is going to try and respond with a long shot. It goes way wide of the net. Inside the final minute now, it's Fairy Peak in control. Flakes having to do a bit of defending. The ball bounces low. Fairy Peak flicks it towards the top corner. Flakes is going to be sitting in net here, just trying to spot a counter-attack opportunity. Fairy Peak does not give him one. Just drilling the shot into the top shelf of the net, and that's the first time in game 1 that Fairy Peak's been in front. He's looking just as good as ever. The series looking very much like the last one that these two played, with Flakes hanging in there, making it close. In the end, Fairy Peak getting the win, and once again scoring with such great control from the ground in the Batmobile. Fairy Peak snaking left and right. That last touch was all he needed to get it past Flakes, who was expecting the top right corner to be the aim of Fairy Peak. Flakes needs a goal, and he needs it now. Flicker on the kickoff is going to be saved by Fairy, and that's not a terrible outcome for Fairy Peak as well. Flakes is forced into the corner with a tight angle to work with. Can't rebound in the first try. He's going to try a second time. Fairy Peak gets in the way of the mind game or the shot, whichever it was, didn't matter. Fairy Peak had all his angles covered. Looks like he will be controlling the final few seconds here. Flakes gets one more, but he needs a really strong kickoff. He's going to come back here. The ball's Fairy Peak safe, but it hits the ground, and Fairy Peak takes game 1.
Fairy Peak finally puts an end to his 5-game loss streak in Game 1s, taking his first opening game win since playing in Scrub Killer in the Premier Week. Ferry also secured 3 demos, making this the most physical game we've seen from him since we started tracking demolitions.
Exactly the start that Fairy Peak was looking for in the first match of the series. He had to come back from 2 down against Alpha just a fortnight ago to keep his winning streak alive. So far, today, he's Fairy Peak in his winning ways. It's not too surprising to see when he's playing like this. Of course, against Alpha, he did start in the Octane and switch to the Batmobile when things were not going too well. That did enable him to win 4 in a row. He's on quite a winning streak right now. In the Bat, he's got a temporarily open net, decides to slow play it, shoots to the left, and Flakes is slightly out of position, but that's all Fairy Peak needed. So much of the goal wide open on the right hand side, but Fairy Peak knows that's where Flakes is expecting him to shoot the ball, so he goes the other way, takes the lead in game 2. Flakes under a lot of pressure here. If he thought that he was going to get an easy game against Fairy Peak, he was certainly mistaken. Don't imagine you would have expected that. It's going to be another goal for Fairy. The air roll so on point. Flakes just helpless on the ground as the ball crosses the goal line once again. The one thing that Flakes has going for him going into this match is he is a #1 player in the ranked leaderboard at the moment, ahead of Fairy Peak and all of the other high-ranked players. But that's not helping him right now. Fairy Peak 3-0 as he drills another shot underneath Flakes, who's just helpless once again. Almost no chance to get any saves. And at the moment, Fairy Peak is just dominant as ever. Can Flakes do anything to get Fairy Peak out of the zone? Can that even be done? So rare to see Fairy Peak tilted. Don't know if I've ever seen him truly tilted when playing at a lower level. He almost takes a 4th goal. Flakes read it hitting the crossbar, and he's going to be rewarded with a counter-attack. Tries to air dribble, but the first touch is too heavy. Can't catch up with the ball. Now Fairy Peak's giving him an open net. It's a rare mistake from Fairy. He doesn't make contact with his aerial, and Flakes will secure the open net straight down the middle. Finally getting 1 on the board. That's so close to the ball by Fairy, but close is not good enough. He knew he had to be very precise with that touch. If he did hit it too hard, it would have been a pass, so there's no point in that. Flakes wins the race to his back corner boost after the next kickoff. Starting to look a bit more part of this game, is Flakes. Stealing Fairy's boost as well, but Fairy Peak is able to generate a lot of power with or without boost. He's looking for another demo on the back wall. I said earlier on that that's not really something Fairy Peak favors too often, but this game he's been employing that tactic to good use. Straight dribble by Fairy. Huge flick into the crossbar, and that's got Flakes to pre-jump, but the shot's straight at Flakes, who's recovering on the ground. Fairy Peak missing a really good chance there. He's going to try and get the second one, and he does bury it. 4-1. Fairy Peak so good with his aerial accuracy from close range. Second goal that he's able to secure this game from that exact same position. So quick in the recovery, so accurate with his aerial takeoff. He's got an open net for 5-1. He doesn't miss those. Fairy Peak just inside halftime takes a 4-goal lead. Desperate times for Flakes. Remember, if he does lose this series, he will go straight back into the next episode of the 4. Of course, the same would be true for Fairy if he loses this. Flakes denied by the crossbar. Fairy Peak doesn't look like he's planning to lose anytime soon. The win streak just continues to grow. 6-1. Flakes early challenge. Ill-advised. Fairy Peak's just going straight to the goal. Flakes doesn't get between there and the ball before challenging. And he's just made this even harder on himself. You can forgive Flakes for diving in there, though. He doesn't have a huge success rate this game defending against Fairy Peak. Reactively. Delayed touch by Fairy. Not too much power on it. Trips up Flakes on the landing. Even when Fairy Peak is going for those higher risk plays, he's still recovering quick enough to stay relevant. Just have a chance on the counter, but this time Flakes will counter successfully, and he gets the second goal on the board. It wasn't the most powerful shot by Flakes, but Fairy Peak couldn't quite read what Flakes was planning. He didn't know if that was going to be the shot on that touch or if it was just another touch to dribble with. Flakes with some good saves. He has had a lot of stops already this game, a lot of defenses needed to be done. The biggest issue for Flakes in this game too is his saves are not resulting in turnovers of possession. He's not getting the ball under control after he saves Fairy Peak's shots, and that's something he has to do if he's going to have a chance against Fairy. That's a lot better. This time Fairy Peak dribbled at the edge of the box. Good turn by Flakes. Not only has he got the ball past Fairy Peak there, but he's also got his car to safety, which is important because if he didn't, first touch wasn't rolling on target. Would have just gone into the corner. It's good speed by Flakes. To get the ball back in his control, because Fairy Peak is still looking threatening. Might just try and waste some time here. No, it's just going to be a handoff. Fairy Peak gives the ball to Flakes. He's around really awkwardly, but Flakes couldn't get the ball past him. Just over a minute left in game 2. Flakes still trailing by a significant margin. 3 goals is difficult to come back against when you got Fairy Peak staring you across the other side of the field. Bad though by Flakes. He's almost creating an opportunity there from a position he really has no business to. First slide on the wall. Gets to win to the race to the ball, but Fairy Peak's one step ahead, catches Flakes on the landing. Now with just over 30 seconds left, he's got a much easier task to do. A good start though for Fairy. Might be conceding here, and yes he will. Flakes with another consistent counter attack. As Fairy Peak gives away the ball with just under 30 seconds left. And he will read the consequences. Perfect start here for Flakes. He's got the ball exactly where he wants it. Wave dash has not really accomplished much. He's just switched sides from right to left, but great dunk though. Flakes off the ceiling. Oh, he's just missed the top corner by a hair. That would have been so good for Flakes. But in doing so, I think he's just lost this game. Fairy Peak will take a 2-0 lead in the series. And oh, what could have been for Flakes.
Game 2 is over, and Flakes finds himself unable to stop Fairy Peak's kickoff, which allowed the champ to force the challenger into numerous defensive positions. This also marks the only time Fairy has won both of the opening games in a series. If Flakes is to stand a chance, he needs to be trickier in the final third. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shogun, and in association with GifYourGame, it is once again time to rank your top 10 goals of the week. Kicking us off at number 10 is this unbelievably tricky dribble by Skydarks. Lotus has decided to go over Christmas theme for his car, but I doubt his opponents appreciate the gift. In our next place, Signtag certainly isn't getting points for distance, but that doesn't stop him from bamboozling the enemy. Ever thought your challenges were really good? Well, Entas begs to differ. Question: how many spinning flip resets is too many? Infinite really, but Trex will settle for 2. Last week's list featured a plethora of self-set aerials, and Hoodie is adding his own to the mix. Ready to watch 3 people have their rank careers ended? Good, because Gentle Bro is about to do exactly that. We're onto the podium now with this gorgeous double reset by Lawrence. Now for this next goal, I'd like to list my 3 favorite quick chats. Take the shot, wow, and calculate it. Now it's not often I have no way to describe a play, but Zach has left me truly dumbfounded by this one. Congratulations to Zach on winning this week's $100 prize. And if you would like a chance to be featured on next week's list, all you have to do is submit a goal to the Goal of the Week channel on the GifYourGame Discord. I am Shogun, and I'll see you next week.
After such a promising start to game 1, Flakes has found himself in the nightmare scenario, trailing 2 games to 0 against Fairy. Fairy Peak's in control from the get-go. It's a nice hit by Fairy, not to own goal. The ball cleared to safety. Mind game by Flakes will secure the lead though. And that's really good ball coverage by Flakes as well. Even if Fairy Peak does read the mind game, Flakes is getting a block on that a lot of the time. That's a great start to a game. We saw that that didn't really stay consistent for him in game 1. Needs to try and keep his nose in front. Aggression probably isn't the game plan for Flakes. Many others against Fairy it is, but I don't think Flakes has this matchup on lockdown with pressure play. Fairy Peak is pretty good at counterattacks as well. Absolutely rockets a flick into the back wall, does Fairy. Usually tries to control those, but in goes Flakes. The boost missed by Fairy sets up the easy demo. And there's the second goal. That's much more like it for Flakes. I love that he's just playing the car there in the back corner. That's very smart of him to do. Doesn't want to just leave Fairy Peak and slap the ball into the wall. Fairy Peak will answer with a goal of his own though. Didn't take long after the kickoff to get a shot on net. You know, that might be one aspect of the game that Fairy Peak is just a level ahead on. When he does win a kickoff and get some pressure on his opponent, he is so quick to execute on those shots. It really does not take him very long before he gets the first shot on net. Good defense by Flakes on the respawn. Fairy Peak's had to invest pretty much all 100 of the boost that he got there just to recover. Using the best recovery by Fairy Peak at all. He's just fallen over and given another goal to Flakes. That's 2 unforced errors in a row for Fairy. Accidentally single jumping here instead of dodging into the ball. And Flakes accepts the kind gift. It's probably the most generous play that I've seen from Fairy in quite some time. 2 free goals. Still, Fairy Peak looking threatening. He does get the ball underneath Flakes. Into the open net it goes. And it's a 1-goal game yet again. Great mind game by Fairy. Earlier in this game, Flakes was the one who was hiding behind the ball while mind gaming his opponent. This time, Fairy Peak returns the favor. Good save by Flakes. Fairy Peak decides not to take the corner boost. He wants to pressure the ball. Flakes is going to step in and take it away. He also takes the back corner boost from Fairy, so that looks like it might have been a misplayed line by Fairy Peak here, but he's got the respawn timing in the mid down to perfection. So he's still going to be well within reach of this play. Flakes trying to get that center ball to himself. We've seen him do that against other players in the 4 recently. Those little touches where he accelerates the ball a lot more than they would have expected. He's overhit that shot, and now Fairy Peak's coming down the line as fast as you like. Side flip flick to the side of the net, but Flakes is there. Almost a demo by Fairy on the landing, but Flakes has just stayed alive. Another slow play by Fairy. Volley into the top shelf. Flakes is just going to sit in net and stare down everything that Fairy Peak tries to get past him. Another save by Flakes. He's one of the only players that does this style of goalkeeping. Not much shadowing from Flakes. If he can face his opponent, he tries to. So far this game he's making it work. He's picked his angles well. Fairy Peak's not had an easy way to get past him. He's not had great vision on Flakes at times because Flakes is hiding behind the ball when he's challenging. Still got that 1-goal lead. It's been a pretty quiet game from both players. Only 5 goals total. Flakes is getting some good possession here. The time is being wasted. Fairy Peak potentially being frustrated. Flakes again. Solid through the ball. Picking his angle very well. Fairy Peak showing off his defensive skills. That shot really didn't take much time to be taken. 2 boosts for Fairy. Definitely enough to put another solid shot on net. Decides to flick it, and Fairy Peak can't get the ball past Flakes at the moment. Every time he tries, it seems like Flakes has him read and gets between the ball and his goal. This time, it will be different though. Fairy Peak from long range just sneaks it into the far corner. Placement and power for Fairy Peak were both required to be on point. But he has brought back all 3 goals. Has the next possession as well. And Flakes afford to lose another game. I mean, he's got one more chance if he does after this, but he really doesn't want to be taking it down that road. Will retake another lead. It's such a similar game to game 1 here. Flakes just staying in front ever so slightly, trying to hang on. Will he be able to do so for this one? Flakes threatening a kickoff goal. Fairy Peak actually stabs at the ball and doesn't make contact. It's a beautiful half flip by Flakes. He was expecting Fairy Peak to leave that ball, but when he doesn't, he just goes straight back into position. It's a very odd game for Fairy. Quite a few misses on the ball. Now here comes Flakes. Patented turtle flick. Uses it as a first touch just to pop the ball and then recover at the same time and flick it a second time. Fairy Peak just getting saved by the inside of the post. He needs one more goal if he's going to take this third game though. Has the boost advantage. Has the ball somewhat under control, but Flakes is staying with it. 10 seconds left. Can Fairy Peak get one more shot opportunity? Flakes is pushing him all the way back onto his goal line. And now Fairy Peak is going to have to go for a ball carry if he wants to win this one. Flakes fakes a challenge. It doesn't accomplish anything. But Fairy Peak's flick is not good enough, and Flakes will secure game 3.
A crucial game win for Flakes to prevent 4 match points for Fairy Peak. This time dominating the large boost stolen and giving a real show as to what Rocket League penalty shootouts would look like, with both players consistently swapping between goal line defense and attacking dribbles.
Huge game there for Flakes. Can he replicate in game 4 and tie up this series? Well, he will if he can keep on doing strong kickoffs like that. It's not just because he gets the occasional kickoff goal that the kickoff is so important for Flakes, but also because Fairy Peak is so good at turning kickoff wins into goals. Flakes can't afford to be losing them, at least not by a significant margin. Fairy Peak trying to get the boost on spawn, but it's a bit late, so he has to drive back for it. Flakes is going to draw Fairy Peak into his own half. Take a long shot. Looks like Fairy Peak has hit that into his own net. 2-0. Fairy Peak is the one who's a little bit out of position. Trying to dodge in the way of the ball there. He's only hit it into his own net. It looks like Flakes had Fairy beat even without the dodge. It's going to be a very tough ball to catch up with. This has become a very interesting series all of a sudden, from a tied game with a minute left in game 3, and Fairy Peak on the comeback trail, looking like he's going to make it 3-0. So now, having Flakes take control, and now he's the one who looks like he's going to be moving forward in this series. What a turn by Flakes. You'll notice as soon as his car is facing the ball, he slams on that boost button. Needs to get all the acceleration he can to give the shot as much power as possible. Fairy Peak with no boost is not able to return the favor, but Flakes can't save it either way. 1 minute into the game, Fairy Peak gets on the board. Flakes just has to do better there in defense. He had the option to save that one. Tried to be a bit too cheeky, keep it safe in the corner. And Fairy Peak has got the boost before Flakes, but Flakes is back into defense in plenty time. He's matched Fairy Peak for aerial speed. That's great stuff by Flakes. Not many players can move into the ball as confidently as Fairy, and the slow roll by Flakes bounces into the net. He's back in the lead by 3. Fairy Peak expecting a boomer there, dives in front of the ball, realizes too late that it is going to be a bounce shot from close range. Flakes continue this form, equalize this series, turn the best of 7 into a best of 3, all for $1,000. And a return to the LOR games next week. Low 50-50 by Fairy. Gets a second goal for him. That's a really early pre-jump by Flakes. I mean, Fairy Peak has been flicking the ball quite a lot, but not enough to merit a pre-jump like that, I would say. Minute and 30 to go, or into the game rather. Fairy Peak is looking threatening once again for another kickoff. Needs to just dribble this one into the top of the net. Maybe get a bump on Flakes on the way, but Flakes is saving those most of the time. Flakes absorbing another challenge of Fairy Peak. Giving himself an open net. Has he just missed that one? He's going to roll off the post up into the net, but the backflip shot by Flakes does cross the line. 5-2. Flakes surprises Fairy in reverse. He continues to impress in this series. If he can come back from 2 games down against Fairy, especially with how close that third game was, that would be a very impressive feat. Set him up perfectly for the series win later on. Fairy Peak is not done with game 4. Continues to aggress. Flakes this time will get the save and get the ball to safety. He's picking up small pads, but here comes Fairy again. Another flick and another save by Flakes. Fairy Peak's recovering so quickly that he can just keep on recycling the possession. Every time Flakes gets a save, Fairy Peak just runs back to the ball and tries again. Finally, Flakes gets a clean turnover. Now he'll take control. Just over 2 minutes left in the game. It's really slowed down. It was a pretty explosive opening. Flakes hasn't had to do too much in the last couple of minutes. Very subtle thing that Flakes just did there. He faked the challenge one way and then reversed into the ball when Fairy Peak was expecting him to back off. It's a very smart line of thinking just to stay one step ahead, but now actually tries it a second time, and Fairy Peak adapts, sees it coming, and he puts in his third goal of the game. 2 minutes remaining. So interesting to see the levels that these guys are moving through. Flakes changing up his fake challenge game, but Fairy Peak reading it the first time he sees it and straight away making the necessary adaptation himself. And now he's read Flakes' early challenge and he makes it a 1-goal game. Flakes diving in plain sight, and you've got to think he's just trying to mix things up there, trying to keep Fairy Peak guessing. But if you're going to keep Fairy Peak guessing, you might as well do something that's difficult to stop. That's equally difficult to stop. What a boomer by Flakes. He slams this shot into the back of the net. Flakes really wants the win here in game 4 rather, get his second win, I should say. He's gonna get it if he keeps this up. That's a 7th goal for Flakes. And even if Fairy Peak doesn't fail the 50-50 as hard as that, Flakes is hiding behind the ball so well. He's really limiting the angles that Fairy Peak has to work with, forcing Fairy Peak to play the game at his pace in the places that he wants to play. Fairy Peak's just going to barge in and score a 5th goal. I like what Flakes is thinking here. He just wants to draw Fairy Peak into the corner because it is quite a difficult place to score from if you don't have enough momentum to demo your opponent. But you need to actually have your back to the ball so you can shadow in the play. That's one spot where I don't think Flakes is going to have too much success facing Fairy. But if he keeps scoring this many goals after kickoffs, it won't matter too much in the context of this game. Flakes has already put 8 past the Frenchman. At this rate, he'll be getting 10 in this game, but that's a pinch by Fairy, almost on target. It's hit the ceiling and the floor. Flakes in it. Deliberately misses own net with a rebound. This time he will shadow in the near post. A little bit of a better approach there by Flakes, not wanting to dive in. Give Fairy Peak an easy goal like he did for Fairy's 5th goal of the match. Well, there's a 9th for Flakes. Fairy Peak relinquishes possession all too easily. And now with 4 goals to score in 41 seconds, it looks like we may be going to a tie series situation, turning into a very similar series to the one that these guys played previously. And that's a great adaptation by Flakes. He sees Fairy Peak diving in to stop a flip reset, so he just slams the ball over the top of him. 10-5, and that will all but secure the win in game 4. Flakes actually going to look for another goal. Maybe try and flip reset this one. Decides to dodge early, looking to get the shot low underneath Fairy Peak, who was arriving pretty early to the middle of the pitch. Fairy Peak can't get the counter attack either way. It was going to be almost an impossible comeback, even if he did score that one. He wanted to get one more goal just to have something to think about before going into the next game. We will be having at most 3 more between these two, at least 2, because with this win, Flakes has just equalized in the series.
Flakes has his most prolific offensive showing yet, sticking 10 past a bewildered Fairy Peak, making this the 2nd most goals the champ has conceded in a single game. with the challenger being happy to force midfield challenges rather than retreat to net. Fairy has a much different looking Flakes to contend with.
Let's just say you've settled down for a nice game of carball, and everything's going as it normally does. You win some, you lose some. Up a rank, down the rank. Spreading the toxin that is your inability to control primal outbursts. When, out of nowhere, you score the goal of a lifetime. It's so incredible, in fact, that you know no living being would believe your sweaty hands were capable of such perfection. Frantically, you search for the best way to share this with the world. Recording a video won't do. It takes too much time. The world needs to know right now, and in a way that can be shared by all. Think, think, think. What about a GIF? GifYourGame. What could this be? Push a button, get a GIF? No, that's impossible. Rendered on our own GTX 1080 machines and saving your computer the hassle. Who do these people think they are? The highest quality GIFs delivered in minutes? Scam artists. I can smell the smelly rubbish from here. Oh well, no time to waste. Let's give it a go. Downloading, installing. This must be what it feels like to get a virus. Alright, let's find the goal. There it is. Push the button. Interesting. I've received a GIF. Is this my goal? It can't be. It is! My beautiful goal! GifYourGame. Push a button, get a GIF. We handle the rest.
Not many players can say that they've been down 2 games against Fairy and fought back to make it an interesting series, but Flakes is one of them. Can he go one step further and put Fairy Peak on the brink? We'd love to have a double match point with a game win here. Fairy Peak hasn't looked too bad in the last game. It was just that game 3 where he looked a little bit off with a couple of free goals for Flakes. Overall, Fairy Peak has been imperious, especially from positions like this, where he's just circling the edge of the box, looking for his opening to strike in. Flakes has got so much of the goal to cover there. You really don't think he's going to be the favourite in that position too often. Here, real shot by Fairy. Going to keep Flakes back in the net while he secures the boost in the back corner. He's just going to circle across and try and steal the other one, but Flakes beats him to it. That's a good line by Flakes. Another good save as well. Recovery to match, but Flakes has missed another cross-map open net. That's not the first time that he's put that wide of target from this position. Now he's going to be the one going from left to right, stealing boosts. For the time being doesn't have much, but these pinches by Fairy are going so far. He really doesn't give away the fact that he's looking for a pinch too early, does he? It's just suddenly the ball flies into Flakes' half, making contact with the ceiling on the way. Got a sneaky suspicion that Fairy Peak's going to put one of these into the net before too long. It's quiet. Game 5. Flakes open net, dishes it in, and that'll be the equalizer just under 2 minutes into the match. Fairy Peak was in a really comfortable spot, to be honest, but he let his guard down. He gets demoed from behind. Flakes right back in it. We're completely even, except for Fairy Peak having the boost advantage. Flakes trying to get the pressure, and he will actually fly into a demo. It's an open net for Flakes yet again, and they make that 2 demo goals for Flakes. Both coming from behind Fairy. This time he was the one who was struggling for boost. Fairy Peak did not respect the potential demo. Oh my goodness, Fairy almost let that bounce in on the net, and it's another demo threat by Flakes, forcing him to jump. Flakes dodging into the ball early here. He didn't want to stay on the back wall any longer than he had to. Fairy Peak is trying to get some revenge for the demos that Flakes has already afflicted on him this game. Long shot by Fairy Peak. Decides to just control this, and he has done a phenomenal job on that touch, but Flakes actually gets a save into the inside of his own post to bounce the ball clear to safety. Still an incredible touch by Fairy to set that one up, but Flakes is up by 2. Look at the speed of the Flakes on the ground. Beats Fairy Peak to the punch. Fairy Peak wanted to dribble that into his back corner, but it's gone into the back of his net. We're actually halfway through game 5. Flakes really doing himself proud here. Almost gets a save on Fairy Peak's kickoff goal, but it is going to be Fairy scoring his second goal of the game. And it's tense as ever, close as ever between these two. For the longest time, it looked like Fairy Peak did not have an equal in the ones arena. Flakes is really putting his name out there, trying to show everybody that he is the player who's going to challenge Fairy's dominance streak, which has lasted for most of 2 years now. But it's these demos in the back corner that are really causing Fairy Peak problems. He's spawned on the left-hand side, and that is also not going to help out his cause. Aerial shot by Flakes, placed to perfection, and you don't get much better than that. Fairy Peak's got most of the goal covered, but not the top corner. Bar down and in. Flakes ahead by 2. A minute and 52 seconds left in game 5. If he can win this, he'll have won 3 games in a row against Fairy, something no one else has been able to do so far in the LOR games. And he'll set himself up for double match point. Needs to stay focused, and he does stay focused. 5-2 now. Flakes just straight up outpacing Fairy in this 5th game, catching him off guard with so many demos, beating him to the ball several times, and using the boost advantages that he gets to score goals in open nets. This time Fairy Peak's in a slap and a long shot though, and that is sneaky, like we expect from Fairy. Crazy acceleration on the ball. Flakes realized a bit too late that the shot was coming. It's another one from Fairy Peak, but Flakes just takes this one under control. No panic for Flakes in defense. He's only got to hold on here for a minute and 15 seconds. He doesn't need to take any risks. His defense has been very on point in this last game. Wasting a lot of time with these high pops, but he's got to stay consistent. Got to get the perfect amount of ball pressure. He's baiting the shot from Fairy, and it's a shot which Flakes can save. Fairy Peak definitely feeling the pressure here. He knows he's not going to get too many chances against a player like Flakes. Easily one of the best defenders in the ones arena right now. The desperation is just compounding now for Fairy. So many shots in the final few minutes here, and every single one of them has been turned over by Flakes. And this time he's going to dribble Fairy on the counter attack. 3-goal lead for Flakes. Like I said before, I do not remember the last time anyone has beaten Fairy Peak 3 games in a row. Flakes might be about to do just that. Can he hang on for 30 seconds? Dunked by Fairy. Unsuccessful. Flakes on the breakaway yet again. Gets a 4th goal in front. And that should be game. Flakes can do pretty much whatever he wants on these next few kickoffs. As long as he doesn't concede 3 kickoff goals in a row, he will be fine here. There is the confirmation. Flakes running down the clock. He has in fact taken 3 games in a row against the best 1v1 player on the planet. Now he just needs one more win in the series to be the first LOR Games champion besides Fairy Peak.
For the first time in LOR Games history, Fairy Peak has lost 3 games in a row, with Flakes brutalizing him with 5 demolitions. Flakes also had an opportunity to show his growing experience, slowing the game down once he had a significant lead, which is much improved from his last showing.
One more game is all that Flakes needs to be the first player to defeat Fairy Peak in the LOR Games. 5 have tried previously, including himself. What a relief this would be to get the win. But look at that, we do have a change up. Last week, or rather 2 weeks ago, we saw Fairy Peak switching from the Octane to the Batmobile to turn a series around. This time he switches from the Batmobile to the Octane. Now I've talked to Fairy, and he says that the Octane makes him ball chase more. So expect to see an aggressive Fairy Peak in this Game 6. Is that going to be the answer to Flakes and his perfect countering style? So far, it has not been the case. Flakes ahead by 1. Perfect turn on the goal line by Flakes. He's looking for boost pads. at the edge of the box. Fairy Peak thinking about shooting this one. Just going to slow play. Air dribble in the top corner. And 2 touches is all it needed. Fairy Peak manages to surprise Flakes from close range. Flakes did not think that Fairy had an extra touch there. That's exactly what Fairy Peak had planned. So interesting to see Fairy Peak putting faith in the Octane play. It's a huge advantage to be able to switch play styles just like that. Have a more defensive and reactive play style with the Batmobile, and then the pressure that the Octane brings, and Fairy Peak takes a lead. Flakes looks like he might be a bit uncomfortable reading Fairy Peak's Octane play. As the series developed previously, he looked like he was starting to figure out Fairy Peak, but that is no longer the case. Fairy Peak's completely thrown a loop here. Almost gets a demo, which would have probably resulted in a 4th goal for Fairy. Flakes is still only 1 behind at the moment, and that might be a goal for him. Fairy Peak actually stays in the air and saves this. Great stuff by Fairy. Wave dashes into position afterwards. Looks for a boost steal, but Flakes is still staying relevant in this play. Fairy Peak circling the edge of the box just like he did in the Batmobile. But now, Flakes doesn't look as comfortable. He doesn't know what Fairy Peak's capabilities are. He doesn't know exactly what Fairy Peak's got planned. What does Fairy Peak do in the Octane from close range? Is it just the same shot repertoire that the Batmobile brings? Or does he try different things? 3-2 is still the score. Slowed down a little bit after an explosion of goals early on. First touch by Fairy, putting pressure on Flakes. Top corner shot, finds the back of the net. And Flakes really is starting to feel the heat. The shot by Fairy was a powerful one, but one that you'd expect Flakes to be saving based on what we've seen from him today and based on what we've seen from him in the past. And this time it will find the back of the net. Fairy Peak looking to up the aggression here in Game 6. Tie up the series, send us to the ace match. Ace match that we've never lost in the LOR games. Floor pitch for Fairy. Gets the ball underneath Flakes, and now he's ahead by 3. It's just all one-way traffic now. The series, which looks so under control for Flakes, has been completely turned around in Game 6. This just shows that Fairy Peak is the most scary player to play against. Even when you back him up into a corner, he's always got a trick up his sleeve. He's always got a way to come back into the game. Such a difficult player to beat, ahead by 4 goals inside the first half of the game. Flakes looking for a ground shot early on. Fairy Peak's read his mind, sends him back into the corner. What does Flakes do from here? He does not look like he's got a good answer to that question himself. Fairy Peak might have just given him a free shot here. It's not the best shot by Flakes, but still has options. Boost steal comes in. The touches that Fairy Peak's making to kill time are helping him out a lot. That little bounce off the wall was not an easy one for Flakes to deal with. Had to go all the way back to the halfway line before he could turn. Flakes got a backwards goal last game, but this time he's not so successful from close range. Inside the final 2 minutes now, the game has really slowed down. It's had moments where Fairy Peak has just exploded and caused a whole bunch of pressure and goals. Look at the recovery saved by Fairy Peak. Flakes is trying to get underneath him, but Fairy Peak just shrugs it off, flicks the ball over the top of his net, and he's still ahead by 4 goals. And a minute has passed since the last goal went in. Fairy Peak just playing this one out. Composed, control, aerial shot by Flakes, still not good enough to cross the back of the net. Fairy Peak scares Flakes away from the back corner before the boost steal can come in. Approaching the final minute now, and Fairy Peak, although boost starved, is going to be able to pick up 100 in the midfield and stay very relevant to the play. Flakes just doesn't look like he has an avenue to attack through. Fairy Peak's got all the angles covered. Playing a perfect segment of Rocket League. We approach 100 seconds since the last goal was scored. It's not a good stat when you need 4 to come back with, but Flakes will put 1 in. Airball shot, top shelf. That is a boomer. Fairy Peak was out of boost for quite a long time there, or at least losing the boost battle. And eventually, Flakes was able to get one past him. 52 seconds left. Flakes still looking for more goals. Slams another one on net, but Fairy Peak puts it wide. the counter-attack by Fairy is going to waste even more time from the clock. It looks like Fairy Peak is just set to equalize the series here, put us into another Game 7. It would be the second Game 7 that these two have played in the LOR games. Of course, Fairy Peak won the last time that they played a Game 7 match. Flakes is going to make it close, so and that is 4 goals for him as the ball bounces barring in. 27 seconds left. Flakes is at least giving himself a chance here. He needs to keep up the ball pressure. He doesn't have any time to back off and let Fairy Peak take control. The second he does that, you know Fairy Peak's going to run down the clock, and that'll be the end of it. It's pretty hard to get the ball off Fairy. I don't know if Flakes has got a way back into this one. Still needing 2 goals inside the final 5 seconds. Fairy Peak looks like he's done it, everybody. And we will be deciding the 6th installment of the LOR games in Game 7.
Fairy dragged Flakes back into goal line defense and left him saveless in a sensational display of shooting. This puts Fairy to 4-0 when faced against opponent with match point, with 3 of those now coming against Flakes. With Game 7 coming up, can Flakes finally push over the line?
Another Octane game for Fairy. And why not after such a successful Game 6? 2 huge turns of the tide in this series. First Flakes to come back, but then Fairy to dominate the 6th game and close it out in a brand new car. Unbelievable stuff from Flakes to take Fairy to Game 7 twice in a row, but he would love one more, and Fairy Peak's just not going to give it to him easily. 1-0 as Fairy Peak punishes a weak clear early on in the match. You know, even though Fairy Peak did drop those 2 games to Alpha a couple of weeks ago in the Octane, I must say I'm definitely a fan of his 1v1 style in the Octane. So different from his Batmobile play, where he's slowing down the play a whole lot more, looking for flicks from close range. Octane is all about the shots and the bounce dribbles and the pressure, the speed. Fairy Peak bringing every single one of those things to the table. Now he's going to show Flakes his air roll shot from close range. Flakes with the save. There's more Fairy Peak offense. The edge of the box. That's just about as close as you can get to taking a 2-0 lead. Fairy Peak peppering Flakes' net with shots at the moment. A minute gone, and it's just been all Fairy Peak and Flakes in defense. Flakes with another save, but he's pushed back. And low and boost. Can he hold on much longer? The answer is a resounding no. Fairy Peak puts in a 2nd goal. And although the journey has been a winding path for him, the result looks like it might just be the same as we're used to seeing. Just unbelievable stuff from Fairy to consistently perform week in, week out against whoever you put in front of him, and to win every single time is an astonishing feat. I don't think we've ever seen this kind of dominance from any Rocket League team or player. Can Flakes bring it back? Can he get the much needed win? Not with open net shooting like that. His open net shooting has plagued him a few times this series. I think that's his 3rd miss now. Not easy to shoot these open nets sometimes. He doesn't have much time to set up the shot, and he knows it needs to be a powerful one when he does hit it, but player of Flakes' caliber definitely got it in him. You know he's capable, he just has to step up when the time comes. Put those shots on net. It was the end of Game 6 that he started to shine and really come back and make it a close one. He's got to sort himself out in this last game a bit sooner than that, because Fairy Peak is looking so in control. 2-0, half the game gone already. Flakes, apart from that open net, has not created any real chances. In fact, he's just conceded a 3rd goal. Fairy Peak easily saves Flakes' shot, recovers and puts it into the net at the other end of the field. And that's just not good enough for Flakes. You compare the 2 offensive styles for Game 7. Fairy Peak, every time he shoots, he's the next one to take control of the ball. He's shooting in spots that Flakes can't easily recover from. And we look at what Flakes just did. He shot straight into Fairy Peak's strong side. Fairy Peak's punished him for it. And that might just be a 4th goal. Indeed it is. Fairy Peak dominating Game 7. And with Octane play like this, the 1v1 world is going to be terrified to think that they don't just need to know how to beat Fairy Peak's Batmobile, but also how to beat his Octane. Maybe asking Alpha 54 how he did it last week would be a good start. Flakes is really in a bad spot here. Seems like he's going to be boxed in for the remaining 2 minutes as things are going at the moment. One boost seal for Flakes, dodges, jumps rather over the demo attempt, but Fairy Peak is still staying in control. You can bet your house that he's probably got more boost than you think he does, even though Flakes is starving him. And Flakes get on the score sheet. He has to score sooner rather than later if he's going to feel he has any chance to win this last game. Fairy Peak on the road to his 6th LOR Games win in a row, and he saved the best till last. Every game before this has been a close one. But when he needs it most, when he needs to step up and secure a Game 7 win, Fairy Peak plays to perfection. Clean sheet, 5 goals inside 4 minutes for him. Flakes just does not know what to do. He's trying to up the aggression, but it's just causing Fairy Peak to get even more chances. That's bounced wide of net, so Fairy Peak won't get an easy rebound, but it could have easily been a 6th goal there. It all goes back to that open net miss for Flakes. So what a different series, what a different game we could be seeing if he had just put that on target. Ever since then, he's not looked like he's been all there. The offense is looking pretty tame. The flick that we just saw and the one that caused Fairy Peak's counterattack earlier on, both nothing like what we've come to expect from a player of Flakes' caliber. Now it's just a question of, will he get a goal in this last game, or is Fairy Peak going to shut him out and show him that even though he did go all the way to Game 7, he always had it under control. Fairy Peak gets a dunk after messing up a flip reset, and that has got to hurt. Flakes has tried everything this game, and although Fairy Peak has played well up until that point, he even gets a goal when he messes up. 15 seconds left. Flakes is wondering what happened to the time. He didn't even have a chance. I think if he'd scored every shot that he did take this game, he still wouldn't have won. Fairy Peak just a level above at the moment. The car switch proving to be too strong, and he wins his 6th LOR Games in a row. Flakes beaten twice by the great Frenchman.
The champion just continues to get better under clutch situations, leading to the first clean sheet we've seen in the LOR Games, while Flakes found himself desperately scrambling to create opportunities that never panned out. Fairy dominated the majority of the kickoffs, which is a death blow against some of his level of ball control, and now moves to $6,000 earned. The challenger certainly came into this series with a new game plan, stealing 35 more boosts than last time, and finding success with a new aggressive midfield stance, but couldn't implement it in the final few games, having now lost 4 match points, whilst Fairy continues to be unstoppable.